Dad?
Yeah.
I was just wondering if you had any advice for me going into the special. You know, any advice at all?
Be yourself. You've been successful doing that. The special is either going to rise or fall on who you are, not who you pretend to be.
Whoa. Hi, Mom.
Hi. I'm in line at the bakery. I'm getting my coffee. Be yourself and remember your audience.
Remember my audience.
You're not exactly performing in front of an audience, are you?
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
What do you...
I gotta pick my coffee. Wait a minute.
Well, I know Dan will pick up.
Hey, I'm not around, so...
Let me try, Jonathan.
Yeah, make it happen, because I'm in the middle of switching from breakfast to lunch.
Oh.
Just be yourself.
That's 3 Be Yourselves. I'm wondering if you have any advice for me.
Don't blow it.
Is there ever a time when you find him that he's not funny?
What's up, T?
Not much. How you doing, Dad?
Going well, just getting ready for special. So you for sure are not going to be able to make it to introduce me?
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to be there.
That's a bummer. Do you have any advice for me?
I'd say actually be funny.
On stage is always funny, and you're super funny at home. It's when he's trying to annoy me. He does the same thing he does to Jacob.
Hey, Kate.
Hi, Daddy.
You're 100% sure you won't be able to intro me, huh?
I'm sorry. I'm not gonna be able to make it out.
All right. Bye. Well, I guess you're up, man.
Oh, fuck you. Ladies and gentlemen, my dad, Josh Wolf. What's happening, everybody? How you doing? Good? Everybody good? Good. Now, first of all, thank you very much for welcoming me into this amazing city. Boise has been amazing. You guys are so nice and so kind, unless somebody says the word Boise, and then you lose your fucking minds. But we're not gonna do that tonight. But thank you guys for coming out. And first, before I get started, I did want to address a few things. Somebody asked me backstage. They said, there are a couple of older folks in here. And do you change your material for the age of the people who are sitting in front of you? And no. I'm gonna tell you why, too. My grandmother knocked that notion out of me quick. Because the first time she saw me, I was super nervous. I didn't want to swear in front of her, you know? So she catches me backstage. And she goes, you look nervous. I said, I am. I'm really nervous. And she said, why are you so nervous? I said, well, I don't want to swear in front of you, Nana. And she said, what word exactly do you not want to say? And I said, well, I don't want to say fuck in front of you. And she said, sweetheart, I had to fuck for you to get here. And I was like, to the show, Nana? I'd have given you a ride. Shit. I don't need you on the side of the road like, my grandson needs to work, you know? Well, here's the thing with my grandparents, and I will say this. I learned a lot from them about family. First of all, they were so funny, and they always infused humor into whatever we're doing, and they never used the word inappropriate. If it was funny, it was funny. And I was like, man, I'm gonna do that. And they also were all about family first. That was a big thing I learned from my grandparents, is family first. And I think I really took that into my family with my kids. You know, my youngest son, he tells me everything. Everything. He told me the first time he touched a boob. He walks into my room super serious, and he walks in and he goes, hey. I said, what's up? He goes, come here. I said, what's going on? He goes, no. Step outside. Now, I'll tell you what I thought was happening. What I thought was happening is I had thought he had hit that age that every man hits, where they look at their dad that first time and they think, I won't beat the shit out of this dude. Right? Not everybody does it, but everybody looks at their dad at least once, like, oh, tell me to take out the trash again. Tell me to take out the trash again. So we're walking outside. I'm tightening up my shoelaces. I'm like, oh, it's fucking on. Okay, here we go. And I'm planning on just poking him in the neck once really hard to slow him down and shit, you know, because he's bigger than me. I need to slow him down. He's a big dude. And we get outside and he goes, touch the boob. And I say, yeah? What do you think? He goes, well, I'm definitely gonna try to do that again. So, but now he did try to fight me. And I grew up with 3 older brothers. We all wrestled or fought my dad at least once growing up. Anybody in here wrestle or fight their dad? How old were you, man? How old? 12. Not a lot of muscle tone on a 12-year-old. 12, huh? How'd that go for you? Yeah. You know what you learn early on as a young man? Is that your dad takes it way more seriously than you do. You right? Because you're like, I'm gonna mess with the old man, huh? And he's like, you're like, what the fuck? Yeah, man. Listen, by the way, I asked some dude last week, I go, how old were you when you fought your dad? He goes, 30. I was like, holy shit. That's just beating up an old man at that point in time, right? But you know what he said? He goes, yeah, well, it's the first time I thought I had a shot, so... And I'm not mad at him. You go in when you think you got your shot, you know? But I remember when my oldest brother, the first time he decided he was gonna fight my dad, right? So me and my other 2 brothers are in my room. We're all under the age of 10. I'm probably like 6. My oldest brother's probably like 16. And he walks into the room super serious, right? He walks in, he's like, I'm fighting dad today. And I'm 6. I'm like, you fighting dad? That's right, I'm fighting dad. You guys got my back? And we were all like, fuck yeah, we got your back. We got your back. You guys ready for some new rules? I'm like, yeah, I want some new rules. He goes, what do you want? I'm like, I want to eat cereal for dinner. He's like, you got it. I'm like, fuck that guy, yeah. Oh, he was riling us up. God, I thought there was going to be a regime change, everybody. I needed to be on the right side of that shit, you know? He had us riled up. I was grabbing pictures of my dad off the wall, like, we're downstairs following him. He's like, you guys ready? Like, yeah, we're ready. You guys got my back? We got your back. We get outside. My dad's in the patio, and he's smoking a cigar, just sitting down. My brother walks out, and he goes, we're fighting today, old man. My dad stands up, and he goes, okay. Now, hindsight being what it is, my dad's confidence should have been a bit of a red flag for my brother. Dude didn't even take the cigar out of his fucking mouth. He knew he wasn't getting hit, you know what I mean? Like, if you go to a fight and one of the guys has a cigar in his mouth, that's the fucking winner. That guy is like, I am confident as shit. So my brother goes, and let me tell you something. And before he could get another word out of his fucking mouth, my dad kicked him in the nuts so hard. And he fell on the ground, right? And my dad walks up to him and goes, you know you shouldn't talk when you fight, right? And walked in the house like a fucking gangster. And we all walked past him like, yeah, you shouldn't talk when you fight. Bing, bing, bing. Well, I'm not hanging outside with a loser. I'm going inside with the winner. Like, I'm not stupid, you know? But he did try to fight me. So I'm walking into the kitchen. He's walking out. And he leans his shoulder into me. And I go, did you just lean your shoulder into me? And he goes, maybe you should watch where you're going. And I started to laugh. I go, I'm sorry. Are you starting to fight with me? And he goes, yeah, not that it's going to be much of a fight. And I was like, all right, man, front lawn right now, let's go. And he goes, no, not now, like 3 weeks. I'm like, 3? Who are you, fucking Rocky? What do you mean 3 weeks? You gotta go turn some tires over and shit? Like what? He goes, I gotta go look up some videos online. I'm like, oh, okay. Now listen, outwardly, when he said 3 weeks, I was mocking him. But on the inside, when he said 3 weeks, I was like, phew. Because I'm at an age where I pull muscles. And I pull muscles doing shit that I shouldn't pull a muscle doing. Like, not too long ago, I pulled a muscle in my right shoulder. Wiping my ass. I went back too quick and I didn't tuck my core. It's all core nowadays, I don't fucking know. But I went back too quick and all my wife heard when she walked by the door was, oh no! Guys, listen guys, if I get a stretch before I shit, you can kill me tonight. Do you know what I mean? Like if you walk into the bathroom later and I'm like this and you're like, what are you doing, man? I'm getting ready to poop. Like you can, I don't need to come out of the bathroom. You can kill me in there. Now here's the deal. By the way, you couldn't do what my dad did now. This is definitely something that you could not get away with now. We have raised a different generation of kids. You guys know that, right? We have raised a generation of spoiled, entitled pussies. You understand that, right? Now, we can clap all you want, but you know whose fault it is? Yeah, they didn't raise themselves, guys. It's our fault. And we've coddled them to the point that it's ridiculous. Do you know that in a lot of states in our great country, they've outlawed dodgeball? Do you know why? Because they say it humiliates the children. Round of applause. By the way, that's ironically why we played the fucking game to begin with. Right? I was like, who are we making cry today, right? Round of applause, people who remember playing dodgeball. Round of applause. Right. And if I said after the show, we're gonna clear out the tables and play some dodgeball, who would play some dodgeball? Yeah! Because we all have that shared experience, right? Everybody in here remembers what that red rubber tastes like on your lips, right? And your eyes are watering, your nose starts to run, you try to get off the court, 9 other balls hit you, and you're like, I'm out already, shit, fuck, I am out! They'll never have that experience, will they? So I call my dad on the phone, because I know my son wants to fight me. I call him on the phone, and I'm like, hey man, we all fought you, right? He goes, yeah. And I said, I seem to remember you being a little more violent than you needed to be. And he said, no, yeah, you remember correctly. And I said, why? Why? And he goes, well, listen, man, he wants to win, right? I said, yeah. He said, you have to win. You have to win. Because if you don't win, the power changes at your house. And then you try telling him to take out the trash tomorrow. He's gonna slap you in the face and be like, you take the trash out, bitch. Don't make me fuck you up again. And I was like, oh my God. He said, this is how... And then he said something, by the way, that I will never forget. I go, I have to win? He said, Josh, even if somebody ends up calling the police, you have to win. And I was like, oh, shit. Now listen, I'm not a violent dude. My dad was more adept at that. And now I did have 3 older brothers, so I am really good at mental torture. So I was like, that's kind of where I'll lean on. So I hang up the phone and I turn around and my wife is there. And she looks right at me. She goes, are you fighting Jacob? And I said, no, I'm not gonna fight him. It's gonna be something, we're gonna do something in the front lawn, but it's not gonna be like a fight. And she said, why don't you just tell him that you're the grown-up and he's the kid, and that's it. He does what you say. And I'm like, nah. I said, that's not gonna work. And she said, why? I said, I'm not sure if you were there, but he basically slapped me in the face with his dick in the kitchen. Like, there's only one response. She goes, I don't like it. I said, I'm not saying it's the right response. I'm just saying it's the only one that I know, do you know? And she said, I don't think this is a good idea. And then I maybe got a little too cocky. And I said, I'll let you know when I have a bad idea. And she was like, oh, okay. You're gonna let me know? And I said, yeah. And she goes, oh, okay. Now listen, you don't have these problems with daughters. Like, I don't have that problem with my daughter doesn't challenge me to a fight. The only problem I ever had with my daughter is that she's been smarter than me since she was 6. And like half the time when we're sitting in our living room, I didn't understand a word that was coming out of her mouth. Like, we'd be in my living room, I'd be like, what's up, baby? She's like, oh my God, daddy. 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 It's like having a fucking dolphin in my living room, right? She tells me everything, too. She came home one day and she was like, oh my God, daddy, I have to tell you something so important. Oh my God, daddy. Okay, daddy. Oh my God, daddy. Okay, daddy. Oh my God, daddy. Okay, daddy. Oh my God, 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 daddy. Okay, daddy. Oh my God, daddy. Chris tried to kiss me. And I was like, oh my God. I said, what happened, babe? And she said, oh my God, daddy. I told him I wasn't sure if I was allowed to do that. I had to go home and ask my daddy. And I said, you know what, babe? Thank you very much for asking. Look, I know you're a teenager and your hormones are running crazy and you don't know what to do, you know? It's a hard time, you know? And the hormones are up and they're down. And look, I know it's a hard time. And I'm not going to tell you what to do and what not to do because I don't think that's my job as your father. My job as your father is just to tell you what I know. And what I know is that God doesn't let little hookers into heaven. Do whatever you want to do with that information, babe. Oh my God, daddy. I don't know what to tell her, guys. She's hanging around teenage boys. Teenage boys are the single biggest predator that walked this planet Earth. They're not in control of what's happening here. It's not their fault. Any man, any guy in here will tell you things used to pop up all the time for no apparent reason, and it was confusing to us. I remember sitting in math class like, and the teacher always thought I was cheating. I was just checking to see if anybody else was hard. I'm like, what the? Guess nobody likes geometry as much as I do. And I remember one time, teacher was like, Mr. Wolf, you can leave. Math class is over. No, I can't. Picked a bad day to wear sweatpants is all I'm gonna tell you. Me and the chick who just got her period for the first time, we're gonna hang out here for a little while. You don't mind it? A terrible age that was. I'll tell you something about my daughter, man. You learned really early on with her, she is a ride or die person. If you are on her team, she is on your team forever. Here's when I knew there was no snitch in her. When I met my wife, I was a single and I was raising 3 kids, right? And in my deal, she and I had both decided, we were like, look, it's not important for her to meet the kids until we know we're gonna get married. Because neither one of us thought it was good for her to start a relationship with them until we knew it was a forever relationship for us, right? So she used to come over after the kids went to sleep, and then she would go home. So one night, it's late, and she says to me, I can't really drive home tonight, I'm too tired. And I was like, well, babe, the first time the kids meet you can't be tomorrow morning in my bed. That is not okay. She said, I know, but I don't know what to do. And I said, well, do you want me to get your car, and then I'll get your car back here tomorrow, and you can drive your car home? And she said, I'm just so tired. She said, do you mind if I just sleep in your closet? And I was like, so let me just see if I got this right. You're coming over, and we're at dinner, we're gonna have sex, and then you're gonna sleep in the closet? And she was like, yeah. And I go, okay. Yeah. But so she goes to sleep in the closet, right? Next morning, I'm up, and my deal with the kids was I make breakfast, I make lunch, you get yourselves dressed. So my daughter runs in, and I'm cooking breakfast, and she goes, Daddy, I can't find my shoes. And I go, babe, you know I'm making breakfast, I can't help you out. And she goes, I don't know where, I looked everywhere. And I said, you didn't look everywhere. Go find the shoes. So, about 3 minutes later, she runs in and she goes, yeah, I still can't find my shoes, and there's a stranger sleeping in your closet. And I go, okay, babe, thank you. I said, I'll help you find your shoes. And she goes, okay. I go, just out of curiosity, Kate, there's a stranger sleeping in my closet. That's the reaction I get? And on our way out of the kitchen, she goes, "It's your closet, Daddy. I don't know what happens in your closet." And I was like, "Well, I'm gonna bury some bodies with that girl. That's shit." So I know I gotta start torturing my son, right? I call my brother on the phone because I'm like, "You guys tortured me endlessly. What should I do?" And he said, "What do you mean? All you talked about growing up was, I wish I had a little brother so I could do to him what you guys did to me." He goes, "Now is your chance. Nobody gets to go back and do that." And I was like, you're right. This is quite an opportunity. And he said, "Yeah, man. Do you want me to send you over the list?" And I go, "What list?" He goes, "Oh, the list of things that we had that we used to do to you." And I said, "Why do you still have the list?" And he was like, "You never know, do you?" And I said, "No." So he sends the list over, right? And I'm looking at it, and he said, "Just remember, the most important thing is to start small and go up from there." So this all started on a Sunday. Now listen, he wants 3 weeks. I don't want to give him a full 3 weeks. I want to get him so mad, my son, that he wants to fight at the end of the week. I need to get him so mad because that's the only chance I have of beating him, right? So my brother's like, "Start slow." I go, "Okay." So Sunday night when my son is sleeping, I took all of his underwear out of his drawer. And I replaced it with panties with the days of the week on it. So when he woke up the next morning, I'm cooking breakfast, and I hear, from the other room, I hear, "What? What is this? Hey, these aren't my underwear! These aren't my underwear!" And I just yelled back, "Hey, just put your Mondays on, sunshine, and come on out for some breakfast." And he was like, "I'm gonna fight you so hard!" And I was like, "Don't say that, don't say that, don't say that. I hope you're not fighting me hard." But they're easily manipulated. Anybody who has teenage boys knows the teenage boys are dumb as shit. So dumb. So dumb. Now, even if you have a smart kid, he is dumb as shit. Both of my sons are smart. They are dumb, dummy, dum-dums. Jacob had some friends over once, right? About 14 at the time. And all I hear is from the room, "Oh, oh, 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 oh." By the way, every teenage boy sounds like that. Every teenage boy is a cross between Rocky and Forrest Gump. Like every teenage boy is somewhere between "Yo, Adrienne" and "Jenny." Like you're somewhere in that fucking. So all I hear is "ho ho, ho ho, ho ho." I'm like, what the fuck is going on in there? Just laughing for 15 minutes straight, right? And I hear, "Dad, come in here, come in here." So I go in there, and 4 of the boys are on one bed with one of those laser pointers that cats chase. And the other boy is on a wall like this. "Ho, ho, 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 ho." And my son goes, "You should use that on stage." I'm like, "I'm gonna." You stupid. They're easily manipulated. And they don't think because they're teenage. Listen, this is my son's, one of his greatest ones, right? I got an iPad for a gift. And I didn't know how to set it up, so I gave it to him. And I go, "Man, will you set this up for me? I don't know how to do it." He goes, "Yeah." And he brings it back later and he goes, "Here you go, Dad. All set up. Just so you know, your iPad is the cloud. Everything from everybody's devices goes to your iPad." Everybody hearing that? Everything from everybody's devices, my iPad. So I'm scrolling through pictures from the road, seeing what I want to post, looking through. And as a man, when you're sitting on your own bed, looking at your own iPad, looking at your pictures, you never want this sentence to leave your mouth. I stop on a picture and I go, "Well, that's not my dick." Now, at first I thought somebody was sending my wife dick pics, and I had that one beat, so I wasn't even gonna say anything to her, you know what I mean? I was gonna be like, "Keep looking at that skinny dick, babe. I feel pretty good about myself." It's not gonna be as funny when I come out of the shower doing the helicopter tomorrow, is it? Is it? But then I recognized the IKEA desk that I had built for my son behind the dick, and I was like, oh my God, I built that desk and that dick! He's sending people dick pics! So I go down into his room, I'm like, hey man. He goes, yeah. I go, you want to explain to me again how the cloud works? And he was like, oh, you're so stupid. And I was like, yeah, no, we'll see. I said, break it down for me real slow if you can. He goes, okay, Dad. You take a picture on your phone and it goes to the iPad. I'm like, what else? He was like, Mom takes a picture on her phone and it goes to the iPad. I'm like, what else? He was like, I take a picture on my phone and oh no. Hey, can I see that iPad? And I said, no, not yet. He goes, oh, okay. And then he goes, so, how's your day going? I said, earlier today, not great. Right now, I'm having the fucking time of my life. And he said, yo, that's good, Dad, because you know when you're in a good mood, we're all in a good mood, so. And then he said something that did make me laugh. He goes, well, thanks for stopping by. He tried to pull the Jedi mind trick on me or some shit. These are not the dick pics you were looking for. Oh. So I go, no, I think I'm gonna stick around for a little bit. And he goes, oh, okay. What a treat. And he said, so, did you have a question you wanted to ask me? And I said, did you have a question you wanted to ask me? And he goes, oh, sure, I'll go first. And his girlfriend's name's Ashley, right? And he goes, are there any pictures of Ashley's boobs on there? And I go, Jacob, are there pictures of a naked underage girl on my iPad? And he goes, well, not if you didn't see him, there aren't, no. I go, no, dude, it's this. And he goes, oh, that's just my dick. I go, I know what it is, man! And he said, I'm so glad you saw that. What do you think about that angle? I go, no. We're close. We're not checking each other's dick pics close. Like, that's not what's going down. And I finally had to tell him, look, don't send dick pics. The penis does not photograph well. I told him, nobody has ever looked at a picture of a dick and been like, I love this picture. Ever. And I told him, I go, I know how you think women react when they get a picture of your dick. It's how you react when you get a boob on their phone. When a teenage boy gets a boob on his phone, they lose their mind. There have been a couple times when I've just heard this from the living room. Yes! They're like, yeah, titty, 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 titty. They do the titty dance, the whole thing. That is not how you women react when you get a picture of a dick, right? Just so you know, when a woman gets a dick pic, she goes like this. Followed by this. Stacy, look! Because she has showed your dick to everybody. And tomorrow it's gonna be on Snapchat with dog ears. Come to my party! Like, you don't want that shit. And anybody who has teenage boys too knows that they lie. That's all they do. And you know how you know they're lying? Because their mouth is moving. They lie. But here's the thing. Sometimes you don't bust them with all of them. And sometimes their lies are so good that you're almost proud of them. You know what I mean? You're like, and don't do that again. That's my fucking boy. You know? My son's best, he ran a game on me. ran a game on me. My wife and I, we went to Hawaii for vacation. And my parents came to stay with him. So when we come back, we get a DirecTV bill a month later, and there's $200 worth of porn charges. And we're looking at the bill, right? My wife and I, and I'm mad. I'm mad, right? The dude needs to be taught a lesson because porn is free. Like, how dumb do you have to be? I got porn in my pocket 24 hours a day. I'm worried about him as a human being if he's still paying for porn. That is the dumbest motherfucking shit I've ever heard of. I'm worried about him walking around in this world if he's still paying for porn. Like, how's he gonna do that? I tell my wife, I'm like, I gotta go down and talk to him. This is so dumb. But here's the deal. I feel like this is gonna be a quick conversation because his MO when he lies is he'll lie. And then if you just show him facts, he's like, yeah, that was me. And that's it. So I have the facts in my hand. I have the bill in my hand. So I figure it's gonna be a quick conversation. So I go down into his room and I'm like, hey man. And he goes, yeah. I go, you know anything about this? And here's how I could tell he was gonna lie to me. Because as soon as I held up the bill, he bent over and he squinted like he couldn't read all of a sudden. He was like, he just started shaking his head like he had never seen that language before. He was like, and then he said something so ridiculous. He goes, yeah, I'm not familiar. I'm like, what the fuck does that mean, you're not familiar? You don't recognize English or you don't know what that is? And he goes, I'm not sure what that list of stuff is. I'm like, it's porn. He goes, oh. I go, you don't know anything about that porn? He goes, no. I go, you didn't order that porn? He goes, no. I go, oh, because I'm looking at the dates. When the porn was ordered, it's when your mom and I were out of town. And the only people at the house were you and Grandma and Grandpa. So it was either you or Grandma and Grandpa. And he looks right at me and he goes, well, they do like each other a lot. And I was like, take it easy there, man. I go, you know, you talking about my mom, right? You talking about my mom right now. I said, you saying my mom watches porn? He goes, no, I didn't say that. You said that. And I'm like, why is he so confident? I have the bill. I have it right here. Why? And I thought, okay, I'm gonna make him so uncomfortable that he'll admit it. And he doesn't want to talk about porn with his dad, so I guess I'll just start reading off the titles of the movies. So I said to him, I go, are you telling me that Grandma and Grandpa were in my room watching Anal Party 3? And this is the quote out of his mouth. He goes, well, the door was shut all weekend. I said, are you saying my mom watches anal? He goes, no, you said that. I never said that. Guys, I walked into the room 100% sure it was him. Now I'm at like 99. I'm like, what? And then I realized the reason he was so confident. You know why he was so confident, everybody? The reason he was so confident was the only way I can truly prove that it was him is if I call my parents. And I say, did you watch Anal Party 3? In my room. And on the off chance they say yes, I gotta burn the fucking house down. Like, I can't live there as an adult male. If my parents are watching anal on your bed, you gotta burn that shit down. So I need to, all of a sudden I've become Tom Cruise from A Few Good Men. Did you order the porn? Like, I needed to know, right? So I decided he's gone all in. He knows I don't want to call my parents. The only way I can bust him is if I go all in too. So I'm like, okay, I'm going all in with this. And I say to him, I go, man, you didn't order the porn. You didn't order the porn? And then he did say what every teenager says at least once. And I said, you didn't order the porn? And he's like, I wish you'd just believe me. Oh. You never believe me. Oh. I go, no, man, I believe you. And he goes, what? Because I figured I'm pushing all my chips in too. The only way to get him to admit it is to get him into a situation that he doesn't want to be in. So I said, yeah, man, I believe you. And I think it's terrible that grandma and grandpa are making you pay for their porn. He was like, yeah, I think that's terrible too. I said, we can't let him hide in the shadows out there in the East Coast. We got to call him out. And he was like, I agree with you. I was like, what do you think, man? And I held up my phone. I go, let's just get him on the phone. And he looks me dead in the eye and he goes, call him. And I'm like, oh. And he goes, no, call him, Dad. I want to hear you call your parents and ask them if they watched Anal Party 3 in your room. I want to hear you ask that question. Call him. I go, I'm gonna. And he goes, I'm right here. And I was like, so I start to dial one number, dial another number, and he goes, you don't have your parents on speed dial? And I said, yeah, I do. I'm going slow. I'm giving you a chance to come clean. And he goes, oh, okay. And he goes, I wouldn't say come clean when you talk to them. And I was like, listen, guys, if this is a fight, he's landed every fucking punch so far. And I'm like, okay. I'm pressing another button. Guys, I'm at like the 8th button. I'm like, I'm about to ask my parents if they watched Anal Party 3. And then I'm going to jump out of a window. Like, this is it for me. I'm about to press that 9th button. And he goes, whoa. I'll pay for it. And I said, you ordered the porn? He goes, no, that was Grandma and Grandpa. I just don't want you to embarrass them. I think it's nice how much they like each other. And I was like... He looks me dead in the eye and he goes, we done here? And I was like, yeah, I guess so. But that wasn't satisfactory to me, guys. I needed to hear him say he ordered the porn, right? So we get to the outside of his door, and I'm on the outside of it, and I go, hey, man, before I leave, I'm gonna give you one last offer. I will pay the bill and give you $200. All you gotta do is say you ordered the porn. And he looks right at me and he goes, nope, Grandma and Grandpa. No! Right? And now every time he walks by my room and the door's open, he looks in and he goes, I wouldn't sleep on that bed. Like an asshole. I don't feel too bad what I'm doing to him. We're at day 3, checking in back in the fight, and I've started to up my battle a little bit, and I started to do something my brothers did to me that I hated. I put Vaseline in basically every pocket that he had. Jacket pocket, pant pocket, anything. Oh, that will drive you slowly crazy, right? And I could hear him go, oh, I'm gonna fight you so hard! And then it was funny, because my wife calls me into the bedroom, and she goes, you come in here? I go, sure. And I look on the mirror, and written in Vaseline, on the mirror, I can't wait to fight you. And she goes, you happy with yourself? And I go, yeah, actually, I'm pretty happy. I go, he just wrote a death wish with Vaseline. He's ready to snap. Like I'm not gonna have to wait 12 days. He's ready to go right now, right? And it's so funny, it really is. The funniest thing about kids is they don't think that we experience what they experience. Like, we were teenagers. We did what you did. Like, they think, like, you wouldn't understand. Oh, no? Like, he thinks he's the only person that ever broke something in a house and just pretended like it ever happened. Oh, I didn't do that. You guys remember doing that shit? Where you break something when you were a kid and you just throw the pieces out like that lamp never existed? Like your parents, 2 grown-ups, are gonna walk into the living room and just notice that one of the 2 lamps that isn't there. That's how dumb teenagers are. They're dumb as shit. I dropped a keg on a hardwood floor in my house growing up when my parents were out of town. We had a party. It was in the dining room. I just slid the dining room table and rug over 9 inches, like, they'll never notice. It's the first thing my mom noticed when she walked in. She was like, why is the table there? I'm like, how'd you notice? She was like, I'm a grown-up. Now, we all know pitfalls of being a teenager, right? So you have to decide which ones you want to warn your kids about and how you should warn them, you know? I think we've all changed how we warn our kids about drinking and driving. Now, the message is easy. Call an Uber, call an a Lyft. I'll pay for everything. Like, there's no excuse for it to ever happen, you know? And I know all the people that I know have kids are very vocal about that now. And I don't know too many teenage kids that are drinking and driving anymore because of that, right? We're pretty clear on this message now. But there's other things that you know they're gonna run into that you don't tell them about. Because how would you? Like my daughter, look, one of the pitfalls that I knew my daughter was gonna run into, my daughter, my princess, my baby girl, the smartest young woman that I know. But I knew that my daughter, my baby girl, you know what pitfall I knew she was gonna fall for? You know what I knew she was gonna fall for? I knew that my daughter was gonna fall for just the tip. How did I know she was gonna fall for that? Because you fell for it, and you fell for it, and you fell for it, and you fell for it. You all fucking fell for something. If you didn't fall for just the tip, you fell for I just want to lay naked next to you. Just one pump. I want to know what it feels like. Don't shake your fucking heads. You all fell for something. And that's what I knew. I'm like, she's gonna fall for that shit. And by the way, it's not that I don't want her to have sex. I'm not that guy who's like, oh, I know that's gonna happen. But the tip is where the bad stuff comes from. The tip makes babies. I don't want that shit. I don't want babies. I'd rather have a guy say just the nuts. Fine, dude. Stuff your nuts in there. I got no problem with that. Stuffed nuts. I'm gonna run for office under stuffed nuts. Looks like it. Looks like it feels great. Stuffed nuts. No kids. That's all I'm saying. It's so funny to see them do shit that I did. I remember the first time I found my son drunk in my kitchen, my oldest son. And here's the thing, here's how you can tell someone's drunk. You can tell they're drunk by what two foods they're combining together. Because if you're eating chips and salsa, you're not that drunk. He was dipping chicken into peanut butter. Sitting in the corner of the kitchen like this. And he was like, this is delicious. And he even said, I think this is how they discovered Reese's. So I was like, hey man, put the chicken and the peanut butter down. Get upstairs, dude, this is embarrassing. He was like, okay. And he goes upstairs. And on his way up the stairs, I said to him, hey, just so you know, man, that chicken and peanut butter, that's not gonna be good for you later. And I was right, because I heard that, we've all heard that, right? That late night run to the bathroom. Your body is amazing. Your body is amazing for this reason. You can pass out. As a man, I've passed out. Dudes have put their nuts on my cheek. They've traced their dicks on my forehead. They squirt shit all over you. You don't wake up. But you gotta puke and your body's like, and sends you off running in a direction, right? So I hear him running down the hallway. And then there's silence, and then I just hear, this isn't fun anymore. Silence, and then just, and my favorite, I swear to God. If you let me stop throwing up, I will never drink again. And then he did a couple of them, what I like to call my favorite, the silent scream. You know when you're like, oh, I don't feel so good, I don't. Ha! Oh, that really hurts my stomach. Oh, that hurts so much. I hope that never happens. But your abs never look better that next day, right? You're like, God damn! I need to do some more of those. And by the way, I don't want anyone feeling bad for them about things that I do to them. They get me just as much. Do you understand that? Like, that's part of the thing in our family. Like, funny is funny. Funny wins. And I scare really easily. And my daughter scared me because I also smoke a lot of weed. And, thank you. And so my daughter scared me one time. She hid in the front yard. So they know that I come home high every now and then. And she was waiting in the front yard in a long, white, flowy gown and a scream mask. I walked into the yard and she was like, ah! And I jazz hand when I get scared. Ah! I make a loud, ah! And I jazz hand. There's like a million videos they have of me going like this. Ah! 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 So fuck them, they get everything, But I knew my son was getting ready to lose his mind, right? So I started to step up my game. And I did something to him that my brothers did to me that used to drive me crazy. They used to put Tabasco sauce on my fingertips when I was sleeping. Well, because the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning is what? You go pee. Anybody who's ever touched a jalapeno and then gone to the bathroom? Yeah, that's not fun, you know? So I put Tabasco sauce on his fingertips and I just wait. I wait 5 in the morning, I get up, I sit in the living room. And I hear him go to the bathroom, and then he walks into the living room like this. And he goes, hey. I said, hey. And he goes, what does it mean? What does it mean if your penis is on fire? So, well, it could mean a lot of things. Oh yeah, like what? I said, well, you could have a virus. Well, what do you do then if you have a virus? What do you do? I'm like, well, they take a needle. You stick it in the base of your penis. What, a penis shot? I don't want one of those. What else? What is there any other option? I go, well, yeah. I said, well, you could have like a bacterial infection. Oh, okay. What is that? What does that mean? I go, how do they fix that? I go, well, they take a needle. And they stick it in the base of your, oh, another penis shot? Oh, I don't want it. Well, is there any option besides penis shot? I don't. I go, well, there's the third one, but it's so rare, like, it never happens. He's like, what is it? I'm like, it just doesn't happen. He goes, what is it? Is it a penis shot? I go, no. He goes, tell me what it is. I go, okay. I go, it's possible, but it never happens, but it's possible. That somebody snuck into your room and put Tabasco sauce on your fingertips when you were sleeping. And he was like, I'm gonna fight you so hard! I'm like, don't say that, don't say that. Now look, we're buddies, we really are buddies, and he tells me everything. He told me, and some things I wanna hear and some things I don't. Some things are just too much. Like he came home excited one night and he was like, hey, I gotta ask you a couple questions. That might make you a little uncomfortable. And I was like, did you not wanna ask a friend? And he was like, no, Dad, you, because, you know, I don't want to ask him, I get embarrassed. I'm like, okay. He goes, okay. So, you know, I'm going out with Ashley on Friday, and we're going to be alone together. We're going to be doing some things I've never done before. So I just got a couple questions. He goes, we're going to be kissing, and my eyes are going to be shut, right? I go, yes. Don't be creepy, open-eye kissy guy. That's the worst. You know when you're kissing somebody and you crack your eye like this, and they're like this? And you're like, well, fuck, tonight's the night I die, I guess. I don't know why you'd be staring at me from an 1/8 of an inch away, you psycho. Okay. I go, yeah, dude, eyes definitely closed. He goes, good. Question number 1 answered. And he goes, you know I know what to do here. And his bra move was terrible. But I didn't want to tell him how to undo a bra, because I left high school not knowing how to undo a bra. You got to figure it out yourself. Look, guys, when I wanted to see boobs in high school, my bra move was this. You know when you put it on top of the titties and it like cuts them in half and you're like, why are they so saggy? So I'm like, yeah, man. He goes, you know I know what to do. I go, yeah, okay. And then he goes, and then Dad, and he starts to do this. And he's looking right at me. He goes, and then Dad, and I'm like, oh, I knew I should have gotten high for this conversation. walking his fingers down his stomach. And he goes, then Dad, and this is exactly what he said. He goes, then Dad, this is where I hear things get a little tricky. I said, yeah, whoever told you that was right. They do get, it does. He said, you know, because the lights are out, my eyes are gonna be closed, so how do you, like when you, Dad, he goes, let me start over, okay? Kissing, eyes closed. Boobies, know what to do there. Take a walk down to Tricky Town, here we are. And he said, what I need to know from you, Dad, is when you, this is getting kind of awkward, isn't it? I said, dude, we are so far past awkward. I am on suicide watch. Can you just ask me the question? Okay, Dad, I'll ask you. Like when you're doing it, how do you touch a woman's banana, Dad? How do you do that? And I was like, you want me to tell you how? That's gross. I don't know, dude. I can't tell you. And I said, you think I'm gonna give you my secrets? I'm not giving you my secrets. I worked hard for those secrets. Every man in America, we all hard for those secrets, right? Trial and error, trial and error, trial and error. Some shit works, some shit doesn't. You try something else. Look, every man in America stumbled out of the gates. You think I'm gonna kick you to the finish line? Fuck you. Figure it out like the rest of us did. Look, you don't go from apprentice to sorcerer in one day. That's all I'm saying. Pretty sure it took Harry Potter 7 movies. I don't fucking know, 8, whatever. I'm just saying, the first time I went down a girl's pants, it would have been nice if somebody had told me, but nobody ever told me. But would have been nice the first time I went down a girl's pants if somebody had told me that the hole was so far back. I was pushing around here for like 20 minutes. I'm like, what's the deal? Is it gonna pop open or do I need a password for this or? Little pig, let me in. Like, and then when I finally hit a hole, I thought, I'm so far back, I'm in the wrong one for sure. Like, I skipped over the vagina. And then when I realized I was in the right place, teenage boys are the worst. When I finally realized I was in the right place, I just left my finger there like I was taking her temperature or something. No movement or anything, just this the whole time. Like she was a Thanksgiving turkey and I was just waiting for her to be. I think I might have even leaned in and was like, does that feel good, baby? So bad. So I'm like, listen, right now we're at the house. We're at day 5, and he's ready to snap. After the Vaseline, I know he's ready to snap. So I do the thing to him that my brothers did to me that made me snap the quickest. They used to lock me in my bathroom. Oh yeah, for hours. Now, I wasn't gonna lock him in for hours, just like an hour and a half, something like that. And so when he's in the bathroom, I take some rope and I tie it to the handle and I tie the other part of the rope to the door handle. And I just sit and I wait. And I hear the toilet flush. And then I just hear the door handle. And I get a text. I'm locked in the bathroom. So I sent him a text back. I know. And then it was just like in a horror movie, all from the inside of the bathroom, all I heard is, are you out there? And I said, you know I am. He goes, you let me out of here right now or I'll break the door down. And I pick up my phone, I'm like, break it down. Has anyone in here ever seen someone try to break down a door? Some funny shit. The first time I saw it, I was in college, and my buddy was like, I'm beating the shit out of this guy. And I go, let's go. And he goes to his house and the door was locked. And he was like, I'm breaking in. I go, break in. And my buddy went, and his hip went, because it's a fucking door, everybody. That's why they put it up there, so you can't walk in and out all willy-nilly. If you think you can break down a door, you watch too much Law and Order. That's all I'm saying. The door. So he goes, I'm gonna break it down. And the reason I have my camera up, guys, is because I'm gonna film it. Because I already have, my wife and I have, a video that's 7.5 minutes long of dumb shit that he's done that we're gonna play at his wedding. So I'm like, this is gonna be a perfect video. Now, guys, I have on that video 90 seconds of the best thing you've ever seen in your life. Funnier than anything you've ever seen on YouTube, funnier than anything you've ever seen in a movie, TV show, anything. My son, such an excitable, just loving life person. Even as a young boy, he rushed through shit. So I have 90 seconds of a video because we were playing in the living room and he went to the bathroom, and when he ran out, he was not careful in the bathroom and he had a little bit of shit on his earlobe. I have a 90-second video of him doing this. Hey, you want to play? What is that? You guys saw 5 seconds of it. I have 85 more seconds of that. It's the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Whenever I'm in a bad mood, I'm like, throw in the tape! Like, that is the best thing I've ever seen. So I have it up like this, right? And I'm ready, because I know what's gonna happen. He goes, I'm breaking it down. I go, do it. And he goes, 1, 2, 3. And all I hear is, silence. It's quiet for like 2-3 minutes. And then he goes, I'm pretty sure this is child abuse. And I said, yeah, which part? He goes, I think all of it. Silence for like another 3 minutes. Then he said something that made me laugh so hard I had to leave the room. I just hear from the bathroom, I'm hungry. So I come back in the room, and this is when I knew he started to crack. He goes, Dad, listen. If you crack the door and slip in a sandwich, I promise not to try to get out. I'm like, oh, fucking Stockholm Syndrome is setting in with this dude. Negotiating with his captors and stuff, you know? I go, I can't do that, man. He was like, oh! And this is when I knew he was ready to fight. I just heard him starting to mumble to himself. Oh. And then he said this. He goes, no, when I get out of here, I'm just gonna shake him. And I was like, fuck. I've never been so mad where I'm like, I'm just gonna shake the shit out of him. Right? I was like, oh, he's ready to fight. I go, you ready to come out, man? And he goes, yeah, I'm ready. And I go, okay. And I open the door. You've ever seen a bull come out of a chute at a rodeo where all their muscles are moving at once, and he's come out, he's like, I'm gonna bite you so hard. And I go, you ready? He goes, I'm ready. I go, let's go. He goes, not yet. I gotta change into my fight clothes. I'm like, what is that? So I go out in the hallway and I see my wife, Beth, and she's like, listen, you sure you still want to fight him? I go, he was just talking about shaking somebody, so he's gonna fight somebody today, so might as well be me. And she said, nothing good is gonna come out of this. Nothing good. Even if you win, nothing good comes out of this. She said, I really think it's a bad idea. And I said, what did I tell you about that? I'll let you know when I have a bad idea. And she was like, okay. And I go, just do me a favor. Just put my phone in the window, because when I pin him, that's gonna be the end of the wedding video. Like, that's a good way to go out. Wedding video over, me pinning him, right? And she goes, okay. So I walk outside. And when I walk outside, guys, I'm pretty happy with myself for a couple of reasons. One, I didn't have to get as violent as my dad did to get him this mad, right? And two, look, whatever you all think about it, nobody in here remembers the stories about when you were a kid, how many times your mom cut the crust off your sandwich. You don't remember the nice stuff. You were like, you remember when fucking Tommy fell off the roof? Do you know what I mean? Those are the stories you tell, and I know this is a story he's gonna tell. This is a memory we're gonna share, and I like that shit. And when he looks back, he's gonna think, man, that was funny as shit, right? And I'm happy. And then he comes busting out of the house. By the way, you want to know what his fight clothes were? Jean shorts, no shirt, and a bandana. I was like, where are you going, Coachella? Like, what the fuck? And he comes running at me. He throws a punch. I duck it. I throw him over my hip, and bam, he lands on his back. You guys know that noise? With all the air just, and I'm like, oh, I got a couple minutes. The wind has been knocked out of him. And the first time the wind gets knocked out of you, you think you're dying, right? So I'm like, oh, I got at least 15 minutes to fuck with this guy. 15 seconds or so, right? So I'm like, I'm always, guys, I was a huge wrestling fan. Huge Randy the Macho Man Savage fan. So I'm like, oh, I'm gonna Randy the Macho Man Savage. So I start to walk around and I'm like, oh yeah, the Macho Man. I'm looking in the window at the camera like, and then I got a couple more seconds. I'm gonna come off the top rope and I'm gonna jump on him, pull his leg up, pin him, end of the wedding video. Perfect, right? So I go, what you gonna do when the Macho Man lands on you? It was a spur of the moment, that's all I had. And I go to push, and when I push, his leg slipped. And when this leg slipped, a disc popped in my back. Boom, and I landed right on him. And I knocked the wind out of him again. And he's like, get off of me, get off of me. And I was like, get out from under me, get out from under me. And we're both laying there like a couple of wet mops in the front yard, right? 30 seconds later, he gets out from under me, walks inside, and I'm laying in the front. And just laying there, probably for like 10 minutes. And then the front door opens, and I see 2 feet walking out to me, and I recognize those feet. Those are my wife's feet. She walks out, and she leans over me just like this, and she goes, how do you think that went? I said, I think it went pretty well. And she said, did it? I said, I won. She goes, did you? She said, all I know is that he's inside drinking water and you're still laying out here with your face in the dirt. He looks like the winner. I go, yeah, but we're gonna cut the video off way before that. Nobody's ever gonna see that shit. And I said, babe, and I knew why she came out. She came out to tell me that she was right and I was wrong. And she was. And I told her right off the front. I said, look, I know that you were right and I was wrong, and I'm so sorry, and I am the adult, and he is the child. And I really just need to keep that in mind. Like, this is how you parent. And we parent together, and I'm sorry we didn't do this together, and I should have listened to you, but thank you very much for coming out to help me in. And she said, I didn't come out here to help you in. She said, I came out here to tell you that the camera is still running in the window, and I think I'm gonna start a little video of my own. Because the sprinklers are set to come on in 3 minutes. And as she's walking away, I go, babe, I don't think that's a good idea. And she turns to me and she goes, I'll let you know when I have a bad idea. Guys, I gotta go.